Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Pedestal Life Society. Right now, I am streaming on YouTube and Instagram, but that will only be for a little while. If you're on YouTube, just make sure that you can see me and hear me. If there's a problem with being able to see me and hear me, I need to know before I get started having this conversation. All right. So, hello, hello, YouTube, Instagram. Hi, how is everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday. Today we have a great topic. We're going to talk about how to romance masculine energy and get everything. All right. So if this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, my name is Braille. Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. Welcome Instagram. Welcome YouTube. Welcome Inner Circle members. Welcome Pedestal Wives. Welcome ladies. So I'm going to kind of let everything get settled before I get started because I have a lot to say in this live stream today. All right. So if you're on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind, just let me know if you can see me and hear me. What I don't want to do is begin talking and then find out later on that you couldn't see me and you couldn't hear me and the quality is horrible. I hate that type of content being posted. I try to do my best to bring you good content where you can hear me and you can see me and you can understand what I'm saying. Hey, Ink 72. Hey, hey, I'm so happy to see so many different faces in the buildings. And also, I'm happy to see my pedestal wives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Aurora. Can you see and hear you? Can see and hear you on YouTube? Yes, absolutely. Marcel, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. All right. So, first of all, the reason why I feel like this is an important conversation to have is because social media can get so chaotic and so hectic that I really do believe that women are leaving something on the table. The reason I say that is that there's such a push for sugaring, escorting, and I don't have any issues with any of those things if women decide to partake, but I do have a problem when women leave something on the table. And I feel like when we are deciding not to have more union and commitment, that we're leaving something on the table. So instead of getting everything, we only get half. So let me explain what I'm saying. So for you who are getting that $1,000 from him, I've already got millions. From you who are getting that one vehicle, already got multiple. From you who's only getting one house, I've already got plenty. So you're leaving something on the table when you decide commitment in marriage is not something you're interested in. And I know social media have made sugaring and escorting, all these things very popular, and women are partaking because they want something, they want it now, they don't want to wait, they want to improve their circumstances right away. And I get that. So I'm not so arrogant and above everyone that I don't see the issues out here or the issues that women are dealing with. I'm not that arrogant. I'm not that above. And that is the reason why I'm not in judgment either of women getting what they can get so that they can survive. But I also realize that you are only getting half. And getting half and leaving something on the table when all it takes is learning how to romance the masculine and you can get everything. Okay, you can get everything. And that is what I want to have a conversation at today. That is what I really want to go in depth with because I see that when I come to social media, there's a lot of old-fashioned conversations being had, some old-fashioned tactics, some tactics and strategy that do no longer work. And I know why it keeps running the gambit is because of the fact that those tactics got women married. They just didn't get women happy within that marriage. So, as me being a woman who's been married for 23 years with a provider husband, I want to modernize that old fashioned information so that you can romance the masculine energy and get everything. All right. So, before you get triggered, sit still a moment because I'm going to go and I'm going to give you some information that you probably haven't heard on social media. I'm going to give you some things that you can utilize today in your commitment in marriage so that you can have more, so that you can stop leaving and getting up from the table with only half. What does it matter if you only got one car when you can get many? What does it matter if you only got one house when you get plenty? What does it matter if you only got $1,000 when you can get millions? But usually this is the way of wife and commitment. And stop going and getting half when you get everything. So romance, romancing the masculine energy. If you've heard it once, you've heard it twice. Majority of women will still pass this down today, and I still hear it in certain circles where they're saying, "Oh, it is through his stomach is the way to get to his heart." And I'm going to tell you that it's not through his stomach to get to his heart, because to get to his stomach, you are going through service and behavior and competition in order to make that happen. Am I saying you will not get married? I'm not saying you won't get married following the old fashioned rules. I'm saying you possibly will, but you may not be happy in that state of marriage. You may not be happy in the way that marriage is unfolding. That is what I'm saying. As a woman who observed other marriages and seen marriages rise and seen marriages fall, women getting through his stomach is through service, it's through action, and it's through doing, which actually doesn't sit right with the feminine. The feminine has narcissistic tendencies, not that she's a narcissist, but she does have narcissistic tendencies where when she's doing something of service and through action, it just doesn't sit right with her. And so, in order to maintain that throughout the relationship, it's very problematic. This is the reason why you have so many women coming to social media with their gripes, their moans, their complaints, because they established a relationship based off the old-fashioned rules of it's through his stomach that you get to his heart, when it's actually through your feminine presence, your feminine essence that gets through his heart, not through his stomach. So let's talk about what that looks like, because I think we are at an impasse now. I'm a realist. I look at reality. I look at how things are actually flowing, how actually things are actually showing up. And all of this divisive content, all of this content that is going to make sure that men and women do not come together and do not enjoy union. This is really, we're not in a time economically for us to continue this conversation of divisiveness. We're not at a time economically where we are going to continue to figure out who is the prize. Is it man or woman? What we need to be doing is coming together in union, and we need the feminine to actually stand up and be feminine and learn how to romance the masculine. And instead of romancing them in the way that you were taught by cooking and cleaning, men enjoy those things. I'm not even taking a shot at cooking and cleaning. I'm not saying you should never do it. I'm saying that is not the way to his heart. Yes, social media, the people of social media may say that this is how I got married. I cooked, I cleaned, I sexed him up. But those are the very people that are unhappy. Those are the very people that are on social media always complaining about their marriages and harping and moaning about the type of men that they have. If you want that type of man, then of course, follow the old ways. What I'm going to do is give you some ways that you can romance the masculine, and it is in a more modernized way, and where it doesn't lose the traditional touches that is the feminine. It's going to also make sure that you're not doing anything to trigger the feminine to throw you out of your feminine energy. You're still doing it in a way that's authentic to you and feels good to you as the feminine. The feminine never ever focuses in on just using service to romance a man. So she doesn't focus in on trying to cook for him or clean for him. Those things are not taboo over here. If you do those things for your man because you enjoy him and because it's something you enjoy to do, go ahead and go forth with it. But when we use that as a way to get to a man or have a man to propose or marry to us, this is where we fail the feminine, because the feminine is so much more. The way that she shows up and she romances the masculine is entirely different by showing what she's of service for. She does not show her service, she shows herself. And see, this is where I feel like the rubber meets the road. This is where a lot of women and men drop the ball when it comes to showing up in that authentic feminine and masculine energy. Because if you keep promoting that the feminine is nothing but service, this triggers her and knocks her out of that feminine energy. Because when it comes to feminine energy, it's somewhat narcissistic. Not a narcissist, but it has some narcissistic tendencies. So when the feminine is stuck in service, stuck in action, stuck in competition, it doesn't feel good to her, and it leads to complaining. It leads to her bemoaning her state in life, bemoaning her marriage, upset at the man that she's currently married to. And that's what we're starting to see over and over and over. To me, I'm like, if we see it happening over and over and over, the logical thing for me is to let's do something different. Let's start talking or having a different conversation so that we can have more union than this who's the prize, who we can get got, who we can take something from. And this is how you end up with half too. This is how men and women end up with half than what they deserve or what they desire, is because we're trying to go and figure out who can get got first, who can take advantage first, who can finesse first, who can take advantage of that person first. We have to get out of that energy in order to have the divine union that we desire, to actually start promoting more unions and having men and women come together and having women understand truly how to romance the masculine. And of course, just like before, we're not going to stay on Instagram for the entire live stream. I'm going to complete this live stream on YouTube. So the link is in the stories if you want to follow along when I end Instagram. But we have to be very careful when we encourage women to romance men, especially masculine energy, through service. There's just like other men have been actually telling on themselves anyway. Of course, they desire these things from women, but they always let us know that they can go hire someone to do that. That is because that is not the feminine space. That is not that's not the way the feminine truly shows up in her presence. And that is not truly to show who she truly is at the core. She doesn't show up in just service. Now, of course, if she desires to do that, it's just something she wants to do, and it's something that makes her feel good, then go and do that. I'm not saying you can't ever cook a meal. I'm not saying you can't ever clean a house. But I say we need to get away from this conversation of this is how you get a man. This is the way to his heart. That is not romance in the masculine energy. And I can see why men are pushing back saying we can hire somebody. Because if I was on the other side of that, I would just hire somebody. I will hire me a maid who's going to show up and clean. I will hire me a cook who's going to make sure dinner is on time. And I'm not going to get any back talk from that either. The people that I hire, they're going to want to keep their job. So they're not going to be sitting here back talking me either. So we have to know how to truly romance the masculine energy. So let's get started going through the tips that I'm going to give you to help you romance the masculine energy. And when you are romanced as the feminine energy, I need to throw this out here because I think it's so important, because I see some women calling for romance. Where are the romance? Where are men who romance? The romance for the feminine is to show interest. It is never to make a decision. Remember that. Women are calling for the romance, but it is not for you to decide that this is your person based off the romance. The romance for the feminine is always a way for him to show interest, for you to see that this may be a person that you can vet. This may be a person that you consider, but it is not the decision. And we're so starved for love, affection, and connection that we're looking for romance. We desire romance. And it's our nature is feminine. It's our nature is feminine to want to have romance. It just doesn't decide anything for us. But when we romance the masculine, this is the way to his heart. So let me talk about the tips. Let's get into it. And then we're going to end Instagram so I don't have to manage both because it's a hassle. But the number one thing I'm going to tell you, if you're romancing the masculine, take off the mask. And I'm not talking about physically, because physically we already have a problem where a lot of women are showing up in the world as the same. We have a different problem that's really like the separate wives, but it's another whole version. And it's getting to the point, it's getting out of control. And the reason why I say take off the mask is when we start doing the inner work, your inner work will determine how you show up physically in the world. So when you done no inner work, you will show up just like everybody else. You will show up just like the separate wife. Men, when you are romancing the masculine energy, all they want is being authentic. They want you in your natural state, you in your natural energy as the feminine, not you copying and being something that you are not, or falling along something that you are not, just because it is trending, just because it is in, just because everybody is doing it. So number one, if you want to romance the masculine energy, be authentic, be yourself. You are more than enough that you don't have to follow anybody else. You don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to dress like anybody else. You ain't got to talk like nobody else. You're more than enough. And so when you show up in the world, when you start doing that inner work, you start really connecting with your authentic core and your authentic feminine, guess what happens? It responds to your physicality. You start showing up differently. You start looking differently. You start talking differently. You start representing differently. You start being. And so when we are our authentic self, this is a romance to the masculine energy. This is, oh, she's romancing me? Look at her showing up as who she is. She's not trying to be like all the other girls. She's not trying to act like all the other girls. She's moving in her own way. She has her own moral code. She has her own boundaries. Look at how she's showing up. That's romancing itself to the feminine, to the masculine. Remember, when it comes down to it, being in that authentic energy is highly attractive. So that's my first tip. If you want to romance the masculine energy, be authentic, be yourself. You're more than enough. You don't have to copy anybody else. You can just be whoever you are. And I guarantee you, when you start doing that inner work, your physicality will respond. It may mean that your hair is longer. It may mean your hair is shorter. It may mean you go natural. It may mean you get a perm. Whatever is in your inner world will respond, and you will have to adjust to it. Number 2, give present to your feminine energy. Showing up in your feminine. Instead of trying to immediately go into solution mode, into take care mode, into service mode, into competition mode, show up in your feminine presence and comfort. And let me give you some examples of that, because there's multiple ways to comfort the masculine energy. A lot of us don't understand how to do so. We are immediately trying to figure out how to solve his issues or how to go into competition mode and show that we're better than other women. And we're always trying to do things that's not going to be showing up in that feminine energy, that feminine essence. So being able to comfort him, sometimes it's just quiet. Now, I know, shocker, right? You don't have to always talk. You don't have to always fill in the spaces. You don't always have to have something to say. You don't always have to be quick with it. Sometimes quiet is enough. Quiet is enough comfort sometimes. Sometimes you don't have to do anything extra. This is the reason why I'm always going to say this, that every woman must get to know her man, her person, on an individual level. Comfort for him may look different. I'm just going to give you ways that you can romance the masculine energy by doing these things. Sometimes it's going to be peace and quiet, not saying anything, letting him be, letting him do, letting him go, letting him have time. That's all you have to do. Sometimes it's going to be intimacy, and intimacy is not sex. It is hugging, kissing, cuddling. That is all it is for intimacy. You have to determine, you have to discern, is this what my masculine energy needs? The more that you truly understand him on that individual level, that is romance in itself. That is seduction in itself. That is, hey, let me spend more time with her. Let me get to know her, and because being around her, there is peace being there. There's peace being there. And I'm going to also say another way to comfort is sex, but I do not advise sex unless you are in commitment, in union, in marriage. If you're not in that, do not use that. You know my stances on sex. I am not a woman who believes in casual sex. I am definitely a woman who believes in selective, being very selective, and making sure that this is your person and is moving towards marriage before you even consider sex. Bringing his favorite food or drink, that is also another way to comfort. Like I said, get to know him on the individual level to kind of see exactly what he desires and what's going to work. So my number 3, and I really want you to listen up to this one, because I found that when I say this, a lot of women either leave the live stream or get very upset about it. And I'm not sure why, but it is appreciation. I want you to realize that appreciation to a man is the beginning of a seduction. I want you to realize that appreciation means so much to men that it's the beginning of a seduction for him. So if you want to romanticize, you want to romance the masculine energy, learn how to appreciate. because we stay in a world that's upside down, that women so not do not want to appreciate, that they would rather just be intimate or have sex. They would rather give their body up versus just appreciate. And just appreciation, just being thankful or saying thank you. When he does something that you love or you like or that's been helpful to your life overall, saying thank you is well enough, and well, it's good enough. You don't have to have an entire story. You ain't got to create a whole play and show any type of appreciation. Simple appreciation, saying thank you, which appreciation is seduction to men, because they love when they hear a woman say thank you. Hear a woman say, "Oh, I appreciate you doing that. You do it better than everybody else. I love that you did that for me. Thank you so much." That is what appreciation is. Appreciation is like balm to the soul for a man. And so when you start throwing in appreciation, this is romance in itself. It's the beginning of seduction for him. So appreciation is number three. Instead of, giving up your body just not to say I'm sorry, or giving up your body just to avoid saying thank you, is start using your words and saying thank you, and just use your appreciation. Just use that as a way to romance the masculine energy. Because men love just a simple thank you will do enough. You don't have to go all over the board with it. You don't have to be fancy with it. You don't have to be long-winded with it. Just saying thank you after you've done something that you like, something that you love, something that you want to have happen again. Because the more that you use appreciation and say thank you when it's needed, the more that he'll hear that and want to do it again. Because appreciation is like seduction for men. When they hear that, it's like music to the ears. It even opens them up more to you when you are a woman who can say and thank you and be appreciative. Number four, if you stand for anything, you will fall for anything. If you are a woman who stands for anything that is trending, anything that will is popularized words, anything that doesn't have any type of foundation, you stand for anything, you believe anything, you have no boundaries, then you need to get some. Because boundaries are sexy. Having moral code is sexy. Having rules and structure is sexy. Having a way of life is sexy. To men, this is romance. Romance looks different to men versus women. Women may say, "Oh, the romance me, you got to get me flowers, you got to take me out to a restaurant, you got to write a poem, you got to take me on a fancy trip." With men, romancing him, stop standing for anything and falling for everything. Be one of those women who have some type of moral code and boundaries. Be one of those women who have rules and standards and structure. Be one of those women who doesn't fall for everything. Be one of those women who leads and lives her life accordingly. Be that woman that is not just noise, but she lives accordingly to her moral code. Be her. And this is romance to the masculine ears. This is a woman who's different from other women. And this is romance to him. Romance to the masculine energy looks different than the feminine energy. For you, he may go out here and go get you, flowers, or he may take you out to some fancy dinner, or he may take you on a trip. He may do all these things to romance you. Because, like I said, the feminine energy is somewhat has narcissistic tendencies where it has to be, packaged and about us. But when it comes to the masculine energy, he wants to see that we stand for something. That if you are his wife, that you're not going to fall for everything. That he's not going to worry about someone coming in his marriage that he doesn't know well, and all they have to do is whisper to you or tell you something, and guess what? You fall for it. Because you don't have anything to stand on. You don't have a foundation. You don't have any beliefs. You can be easily swayed and influenced. Stand for something and stop falling for everything. And I'm going to go ahead and close out the Instagram live stream. If you want to continue this conversation, come on over here to YouTube, and I'll see you all on the next one. Y'all have a great Tuesday. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. I'm going to look at the chat. We like the truth here. Yes, appreciation. You're so right. I read this, saw a few nice words to him. Absolutely. Appreciation is equal to seduction. It is the way to romance masculine energy. Number five, be flexible in a relationship. Where do we get? I'm not sure what changed where we've gotten so rigid, where we have to, it's like it's our way of the highway now. And I think that comes also from the trauma and from all of the things that went wrong in relationship prior, that now we're on this kick of it's our way of the highway, but that is not being and bringing that feminine essence and presence to the masculine. That is not being his reciprocal energy. So we have to start being more flexible. I'm not saying not getting anything we want in the relationship, but if he's trying to meet you halfway and he's trying to make things happy for you, why are you making it difficult? Why are you trying to be so rigid? Why are you not at least speaking up your expectation and suggesting the things that you desire, but then you're angry and mad that you didn't get it? Like I see it all over social media currently, and I'm like, we need to learn how to romance masculine energy. Now you can say everything you want to say about the women of back in the day, our elders, the old-fashioned women. They at least understood that they had to be flexible, that they had to not be so rigid, that they had to stand for something. And that's what we need to get back to, because I feel like a lot of women are leaving something on the table. We're leaving money on the table. We're leaving family on the table. We're leaving investments on the table. We're leaving our pride on the table. We're leaving our morals on the table just to get half of what commitment and union would give you. We're leaving so much on the table. And just romancing the masculine energy, you will get the things that you want and everything that he has, instead of only ending up with half. So you're willing to leave with just a portion. You're only willing to leave with just half when you can actually have everything. Because once you go and you romance that masculine energy, you can get to his heart. Once you have his heart, you have everything. He will hand everything to you on a silver platter. And yes, I know there's been so many conversations that men can't love. That's not true. Scientifically, it's not true. They can love. Men are all about the feels, all about the emotions. This is the reason why they go and they don't worry about trying to date up. They don't worry about trying to date the woman who has the most money or the most degrees or the most houses or the most cars. They go and date the woman who makes them feel the most. And that is how you romance the masculine energy. You have to get them to feel. And get in the feel, you have to be in an authentic feminine energy or essence. You can't get in the field by trying to fight fire with fire. Baby, you have to fight fire with ice with fire. It's always going to be the opposite, but never the equal. So we have to get back to where we were flexible in relationships, where if we didn't get exactly what we wanted, we got as close there as possible, especially if we're dealing with the dynamic when he doesn't have enough. You're dating a guy who doesn't have enough for your expectations. And then you're wondering why he can't come through for you. The greatest horror, the biggest horror, is when a provider cannot provide. But when you give him things that he can just check off and that he can just do for you, that he can go out here and build for you, you will have his heart. Versus a woman who is asking for the stars when he's only sweeping around the moon, when he's only sweeping the floors at a restaurant, or when he doesn't have enough money. You're asking for the stars to a man who can only look up at them. He can only dream about them. He can only look up at them. But if you start romancing the masculine where he is, and the choice is yours too. The choice is yours about when it comes to what type of man you date and what that man has. If you know that this man is beginning in his career, beginning building his empire, you shouldn't ask for things that you know he can't obtain. The more that you ask for things that he can't obtain, the more that you open his heart up to you. This is how you romance the masculine energy. You continue to inspire him, encourage him, and then support him so that he can continue to go higher and higher and open up new doors and keep climbing that socioeconomic ladder. But the more you continue to pout and complain and be upset that you married a man who swept the floor, that he can only look at the stars and never get it for you, then you're not romancing the masculine energy. The more that you romance the masculine energy, the more that you make him feel, the more that you have his hand in the palm of your hand, the more that you're going to get everything. The more he will give you everything. There is no manipulation involved when a man feels. When a man feels, when you have his heart space and you live in his heart, when you have his heart, he gives you everything. He'll open up his wallet, he'll open up his house, he'll open up his car, he'll open his 401k, he'll open up his investments, and he will just willingly hand them over to you. But when we don't know how to romance that masculine, and we have to realize it's not going to be through your service, it is not going to be through your action, and it's not going to be through your doing. We've tried it, it's failed, it hasn't worked. That is the reason why you don't get to a man's heart through his stomach. It's never worked. You may have gotten married on that concept, but maintaining it and continuing happiness and having a happy union, that is not the case, as we can tell. There's plenty of unhappily married people on social media letting us know what they did and what they didn't do. So if you want to romance the masculine, it's going to be through his heart. It's going to be being authentic, being in that feminine essence and energy. It's going to be standing for something instead of falling for everything. It's going to be through the appreciation, because appreciation is like seduction. It's like, come here. For men, just hearing you say thank you is like music to their ears. Just hearing you and seeing you be flexible and being able to work with him. And I'm not talking about working physically. Y'all know that's not what my platform is about. Because I truly do believe if you romance the masculine energy, you can get everything, including you can be a stay-at-home wife and mother. You can be the woman who has that space and energy so that she can become better. During the time of being a wife and mother, I was able to go to therapy. I was able to learn what my blueprint and purpose is. I was able to improve myself as a woman. I was able to absolutely relax in my feminine essence and energy. I was able to learn and read and just become. I was able to do so much during that time and space, and that is because I understand how to romance the masculine energy. So he'll willingly give me these things and the opportunities that he gave me, and pouring into my business when he didn't know if I was going to be successful. He didn't even know if I was going to even do it. Because as the feminine, sometimes we can be a little, foo-foo. Sometimes we're in our feelings and emotions that we can be foo-foo, and we don't really, sometimes we don't complete things like men complete things. We do things in a whole different way. So he didn't even know that supporting me, I would be able to create or build anything. So he took a chance on me because of the fact that when you know how to romance the masculine energy, you can romance out of him everything. So I will never understand this mentality of only getting half. I don't understand this mentality of only leaving things on the table and not getting everything that a feminine energy being desires, because women desire it all. Women never ever get rid of that ability to want more. Women always want more. Feminine energy always want more. It is a bottomless pit of wanting more. And so when I see that women are willing to accept and settle for only half of what men can give them, only willing to accept that small come up versus what he could give you over time. So I'm going to go ahead and see what everybody's saying in the comment section. Hello, Carrie Villanchi. Girl, I can't say that, but hello, lovely. Hey, Hessie. Hey, Hepburn. We like the truth here. Okay, I read that already. All right. So do we have anything else to add here? Can't see it here. Hello. Hey, everyone. Thank you for your support over here. But we definitely need to get back to being able to romance the masculine energy. We need to realize it's not through your service, not through your action. I know you keep hearing it over and over on social media that you're going to have to cook and clean. And that is the reason why they're coming back with their counter and saying, all we got to do is pay somebody to do that. Because those are not things that romance the masculine energy. Those are things that are of service and of action and things that we can do out of caring and consideration. But these aren't the main things that open his heart to us. When the masculine opens up his heart to us, it is because we're in our authentic energy. We're absolutely standing in our feminine energy so that we can be seen. Because I'm starting to really believe that you can't be seen when you are becoming a shepherd's, not a shepherd, a Stepford wife. When you are being a Stepford wife and you become like every other woman, you're blending in, you're not standing out, you're not being your authentic self, you're just blending in order to fit in. And we're not meant to, as the feminine, to actually fit in anyway. We're meant to stand out. Yes, we love our communities. We love being in connect with other women. But when it comes to our authentic nature and our personality and our being and how we show up in the world, the feminine energy is very unique and very luxurious. So that is the feminine energy. So you want to make sure that you are romancing the masculine energy. And so you can get everything. Stop settling for half when you get it all. Stop settling for that little bit of money that he sent you just because he can, and get it all. Get all the things that you desire and deserve as a feminine being. And the masculine energy wants to give you these things. But the way that women are showing up, and not only showing up like other women that they can't even tell them apart, not only showing up very rigid, very shut down, very behind, having walls up. Like, how can he really connect with you if he can't even, connect with you? If there's so many walls up, and I know someone may have been hurt, you may have been traumatized, you may have experienced the bad side of dealing with men, the horrible side of dealing with men. But the men that you're currently should be attracting, the men that are pursuing you, these are masculine energy men, and all they want to do is to see you and to be with you. All they want to do is to feel you, and not just feel you on a sexual level, because the mating strategy that women currently have is sleeping with men in order to get him to commit. That strategy is trash. And I'm going to be very harsh on that strategy because I haven't seen it really bring anything or give the woman, the feminine, what she desires, which is commitment and union. It does not give you what you want. It just leaves you feeling as though you didn't get what you deserved or what you desire out of that person. So stop leading with that. Stop following the old rules and the old ways. Because I know, just like I was taught, I'm quite sure you were taught, that the way to his heart is through his stomach. But that is through action, and that is through service. And when it comes down to the masculine, if you really want to truly romance him, you're going to go and use the language that he understands. And he understands more when you're being flexible, when you're not being rigid, where he can actually please you. And he knows he can please you. You're not asking for things that he cannot deliver to you. You're not asking for things that he can't even obtain. Everything that you're putting in front of him, he can go and knock it out. He can check it off. And the more he's able to do that, that encourages and inspires him. That is romance to him, because you're a woman that not only sees him, but you support him and you approve of him where he is. And the approval is also key. When you approve of him and you allow him to take care of you and fulfill your needs, and you're not giving him things that he cannot accomplish, you're not giving him things that's out of his realm, you're not doing things that's beating him down in that masculine energy, you're encouraging it, you're supporting it. That's romance to the masculine energy. The masculine energy, as far as being romance, is going to be different from what you would desire. You want the flowers. You want the beautiful vacations. You want the house, the car. You want the words, the poetry. You want all these things that equivalent to romance. But when it comes to romance and the masculine, it's a whole different ball game. He wants you at your authentic being. He wants you in your feminine essence and core. He wants you to have that flexibility. He wants you to have that appreciation. Appreciating him is seduction to masculine energy. Just saying thank you, when some women will literally just have sex with a man in order not to say thank you. Some women will avoid the conversation just to avoid saying I'm sorry. When you can do these things, this is romance. This is seduction to him, because it's different than what he's encountering out here. It's different from what the average woman that he's encountering. He's encountering overall the women that are nothing but separate wives. They're blending in, they're following a trend. They're saying what sounds good, they're using and they're in competition with other women. They're in service and trying to figure out who can get the guy. How would we ask for what we want? If you're going to ask for what you want, make sure it's in the form of suggestion. Because when you are asking for something that he can deliver to you, it's nothing but a suggestion away. So this goes back to what I've talked about influence. The more influence that you have with a man, the easier it is to ask for what you want. And actually, this is a way to vet too. If you ask for something and it is ignored, made fun of, or he is acting as though it's silly, then you know that you don't have influence with him. So let me give you a simple example of how to ask for what you want. If you want to go to a restaurant and that restaurant just opened up down the street, and you're like, oh, I want to go and try the Italian restaurant. Only thing you have to say is give him the thing that you want by just saying what you want. You can say, hey, look at this. This Italian restaurant just opened up down the street. It has 5 stars. Look at the reviews. I would love to go here. That is all. And then a masculine energy man that you have influence with, he's going to go and say, you want to go there? Okay, let me go and book that. We can go next week. About 12 o'clock sound good? That is all you have to do. You don't have to do a lot of hard work and heavy lifting when you have influence. You don't have to do a lot of manipulation either. You can also do it another way. If there's a restaurant down the street and maybe you don't know him as well, maybe you just started talking, you can ask him, you know what? Have you ever heard of this restaurant called Luciana? It just opened up down the street. What do you think of it? That is a way to suggest, especially if you just met him. Okay, you don't want to go and say, hey, I want to go here. This is where we're going. You don't want to say, hey, we're going to this restaurant on this date. Then you've taken over planning the date for him. You've made sure that he hasn't been able to step up and take you where you want to go. Because see, the thing is, another way of romancing the masculine is giving him an opportunity to follow through for you and taking you where you want to go and doing the things that you want to do. If you give him the opportunity, this is romance and seduction in itself. Masculine energy loves to be of use. When you don't use it, they feel as though they're not needed. And they tend to withdraw. And if you actually go and you'll see this over, when you look at couples, you'll see that a lot of men have withdrawn. And that is because of the fact that their wives have stepped over into that masculine energy and she's doing everything. So why would he losing the energy trying to go and do those things? Because the only thing he's going to do is get in a pissing contest or a competition with his wife. And no man desires to be in competition with you. No man wants to go toe to toe with his wife all the time. They don't want to utilize that energy. That is the reason why they'll step away and you realize that that man is just dead inside. He's not there anymore. He's just dead inside. His wife is taking over everything. And since she's not romancing that masculine energy, she is not giving him the opportunity to follow through and, fulfill her needs, because men have to be needed. It is part of their nature. If you're not using and making sure that man is needed, you are shutting him down and he's conserving his energy. He is falling back, and men fall back very easily too. Don't think because they fall back that they're going to leave the marriage or cheat or do any of these ridiculous things. No, they normally just conserve energy. And they just when you come across them, you realize he just kind of sleep at the wheel and he's just waiting on instructions from his wife. I have gone on dates but found myself paying for parking. I'm being petty, or should that be taken care of by him? That should be taken care of by him. Like, if he arranged the date, he planned the date, he should pay for the parking for the date. That is the reason why instead of taking yourself, you should start suggesting a Uber so he can go ahead and pay for that up front. Then there's no parking. There's no who's going to pay for the parking fees. The Uber is taken care of. There and back. Have him pay for a round trip. But romancing the masculine is something that the masculine desires, because the masculine operates more of in the relationship with you, with their loved one. They operate from their heart space. They operate from their feelings. And as long as you're able to get him to feel and to get him to open up his heart space for you, he will give you everything. So this is the reason why I don't understand this mentality of sugaring to get half of what you deserve, or get leaving money on the table. I don't understand the desire to get one car when you can get multiple, to get one house when you can get plenty, to get $1,000 when you can get millions. I will never understand it, because to me, it logically doesn't make sense. When men want to do these things for us, it is a sense of pride to be needed to be able to provide for her $1 million house. Men will walk around with a cheesy smile on their face, their chest up, when they think and talk about the wives that they take care of. When you come in the right circles, you get to see it. Men brag about women, their wives shopping and enjoying their lives. Like right now, I think one of my family members, she's overseas, just on a vacation that her husband sent. And all he does is brag about the fact that he can send his wife on vacation, that his wife can travel and enjoy herself while he works hard. Men love having dirty, filthy hands while yours stay beautiful and together. They love having that, but you have to learn how to romance that masculine. Not complain, not whine, not pout. And you know I'm a pouter too. Okay, don't do it. We use the pouting in certain ways. Even though I'm a pouter too, we don't do all of that to be able to romance the masculine. When you romance the masculine, it is through the appreciation. It is through being flexible. It is through having standards, like having a woman that he knows that stands for something. She has a moral code. She has a way that she lives. And it doesn't matter what's in style, it doesn't matter what's trending. His woman won't fall for it, because she's a different type of woman. That type of woman will have a man wide open, his heart space ready to receive you. And you will get everything. You don't have to go out with just half. That's all I'm saying. I know a lot of people get upset when I start talking about sugaring, escorting, prostituting, all those things. You get mad at me because you think I'm like judging it. I'm not judging it. I'm saying you're leaving something on the table. You're leaving half on the table versus getting everything. And romancing the masculine is so easy. But women's pride and ego is stopping us from actually romancing the masculine. Or we're trying to romance them through service, when all they have to do is go pay for a maid. All they have to do is go pay for a cook. All they have to do is go pay for your service. Thank you for your service, by the way. And if you want to romance them, you're going to do it a different way. Appreciation is seduction. It's music to the ears. A woman who can apologize? Do you know how rare you are? Do you know how beneficial you are to a masculine energy man? Do you know how you romance him on another level when you make a mistake and you say, I'm sorry? When some women will avoid the conversation, go cook his meal, a favorite drink, or have sex with him just to avoid saying, I'm sorry. You are a whole different level of being able to romance a masculine energy when you realize how to do so, how to truly connect and romance the masculine energy. Because the masculine energy needs to be able to do these things for you. They want to be able to give you everything. They want you to be able to live in their heart space. They want you to be there. But we have to let go of some of this old programming and this old thinking. We have to let go of what we're seeing on social media. Let social media have this back and forth, this gender war that they have going on. Let them have that, where you have commitment and union, where you are able to be in marriage and be able to benefit from all that marriage benefits and gets everything from the masculine energy. You get it all, and let them have that. You can be on social media and not follow any of that stuff. I'm on social media and I pay no mind, because I already have the blueprint out of my personal experience in my own marriage, what truly works. And just constantly complaining and moaning and whining about men will not do anything to bring them any closer or to change them. But men change when they want to. They change when they want to. But he'll have some inspiration to change when he's been romanced versus if he's being complained and yelled at and moaned at and argued at all the time. Learn how to romance your masculine energy and get everything. Get everything because he wants to give you everything. He's just waiting for the opportunity, the right woman to be able to give everything to. But we need to know how to go about it and stop listening to what, just erase all that stuff on social media, all of that back and forth, all of that noise. Let it go, because that's not going to help you be able to get in commitment and divine union with the man that is going to be the provider, the masculine energy, the leader. Thank you so much for taking the time to give us valuable information. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because I truly want women to get what they desire and they deserve in life. I want you to be in that divine union with the masculine energy. I want you to get it all. I want you to stop settling for half. Stop settling for half of a man, half of his heart, half of his time, half of his presence, half of his money. Stop settling for half of him and get it all. Because once men love, they love very hard. Once you live in that heart space, it's hard to remove you. It's hard to remove you. And especially if you know how to romance, if you know how to actually romance the masculine energy in the way that they desire to be romanced, it's hard to remove you from the heart space. So all of the women talk about, well, he gonna cheat. Girl, once you live in the masculine energy heart space, he's not concerned about any other woman but you. He is more focused on you because you know how to romance him. You're different than other women. Too many women are showing up just like every other woman. Like you can't even tell them a difference anymore. Because they have decided not to be authentic and not to do any of that inner work. And what happens there, you're starting to show up alike. I can always tell when women are not doing the work that's necessary, just personally for themselves, not just for the masculine, just doing the work so you can connect with your own blueprint, so you know what your own purpose is, so you know who you are as a woman. Like when you do that type of work, you tend to show up differently in the world. Like I said, your hair may be longer, your hair may be shorter. You may dye your hair, you may cut your hair, you may add lashes, you may decide to do contacts, your look is going to be according to the inner work that you do. But when there's no inner work done, you tend to show up like the separate wife, like every other woman who are also confused and undecided and not showing up in the world in their feminine energy and essence. So I'm going to go ahead and open up any of the comment section that you would, if you want to leave a comment, you want to say something. But I want you to learn how to romance the masculine. And hopefully there's something I said today that can help you, add to the things that you're currently doing so that you can romance the masculine and let go of some of the old thinking and the old ways. Like I said, I'm not going against you cooking for a guy or cleaning for a guy. I'm just saying that is of service, and being of service, a person can just pay somebody to do that. That is not something that's going to romance masculine energy. Okay. So if you have anything else you want to add and you want me to say it, drop it in the comment section. What do you think about this? Because also take time to like the video. If you want more people to come over here so they can see the content and be a part of this community, the Pedestal Wives. If you also want, we'd love for you to share them also. That'd be great. How to dodge the innuendos. First of all, don't dodge them. Ignore. And if it's inappropriate, stay away. Don't worry about dodging them. Don't worry about responding to them. If it is inappropriate, stay away from him. Don't try to go tit for tat when it comes to that right there, because you're not open to that type of nonsense. You're not dealing with a type of guy that's going to be using innuendos. Let me tell you this, okay? And I think I said this in the previous video before. Men come on very strong and they come on all sexual. They're not serious. I want you to immediately start programming yourself now. to realize if he comes on very strong, he comes on very sexual, he is not the one. Why? Because the man that is your person, he's going to be very slow to bring up anything sexual because he doesn't want to mess it up. And that's how you're going to know he's into you to you that level. If on the very first date, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is something sexual, then it is time to absolutely go ahead and realize that, oh, this person is not going to be my person. This is a person I do not want to have anything further with because he's not taking me seriously. A man who takes you seriously is not going to come in and start talking about your tits or talking about how they want to see you up in the air or talking about anything sexual. They're just not. They don't want to mess it up. They want to make sure they have a chance with you. And they know if they say the wrong thing, they're not going to have a chance with you. So if he says something very disrespectful, I suggest that you realize he's not serious. He's not the one. And you don't go tit for tat for someone who's using all the innuendos. I don't have a car I like to drive. I expect the man to pay for my transportation to dates and back home. How do I communicate that? You communicate that by saying, hey, I don't really like to drive. The restaurant is this amount of miles. And give him a problem so he can give you a solution. Usually that you can also say, what about you can say, what about getting an Uber? What about helping me with an Uber? You can say, what about helping me with an Uber? But what I would do first of all is just give him a problem. Tell him you don't like to drive and the restaurant is just about a miles away and transportation is going to be an issue. Say transportation, it's going to be hard for me to get there because the restaurant is at least 10 miles away. And let him solve that problem. Trust me, your person is going to be able to solve that problem without you giving a suggestion of what you desire to happen. And I would say try to not deal with too many men that you have to go as far as giving a suggestion, as far as things like that. Like transportation, he sees that you don't drive or that you don't like to drive and the restaurant is this far away. He should immediately offer an Uber or offer some type of form of transportation. What you're going to come across though is a man's probably going to say, I'll pick you up. And then you need to come back with, hey, I don't feel safe. I'm just getting to know you. And then you can say, what about Uber? What about getting Uber? And not saying that you're going to get Uber, not saying he's going to get Uber, just make it a suggestion and go from there. Because the majority of the women and my clients, they usually get a Uber, get some type of transportation sent to them so that they don't have to worry about driving back from a date. Because you could always be like, oh, I just want to be so focused on you and having fun. I don't really want to be trying to drive back. And, I don't want to drive back that far by myself. What about a Uber? The power of suggestion. And usually, if they're serious about you and they want to see where it goes, they're going to be interested in solving that problem so they can make it happen. So make sure you take the time, like the video so that other women can see the video. If we don't have anything else, I'm getting ready to close out. I appreciate you, Inner Circle members, Pedestal Wives, for being in the building. Thank you. I appreciate all the new women that are finding the content. Thank you so much. So I know there's a lag between me and you. So I'm giving you an opportunity. If you have anything else you want to add, you want to drop in the comment section, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. But romance the masculine energy in a way he's going to be romanced versus the way that you would be romanced. Because that's where women drop the ball. This is where women fumble at. We try to romance men in the way that we want to be romanced, when men are very simple and straight to the point. They want to be romanced through appreciation. Appreciation is seduction for them. They want to be romanced by dealing with the woman in our feminine energy who is flexible. They want to be romanced by dealing with a woman who knows how to stand her ground and has some stands for something. She has standards. She has boundaries. She has some type of structure in her world. When is the inner circle going to open? The inner circle is always open. Only way to get into the inner circle, though, you have to go through getting a membership. Once you get the membership, then everything is open to you as far as the inner circle. It's always open, though. I haven't put a limit on how many people can come into the inner circle. Not yet. I'm not saying I won't do that in the future, but right now I haven't. So if you want to be part of the inner circle, just go in and click the links where it says Pedestal Wives. Pick which level you want. Either you can be a Pedestal Gem or a Pedestal Jewel, and you can get that level of membership. The link should be in the description box. It's in the description box of every video. And then once you get that, you get the behind the wall, all the content before then, because on YouTube, it says I only have like 338 videos. Truly, I have over 1,000 plus. Just the other half happens to be in membership. I have another video planned. And see, I know y'all proud of me now. I have like, I can't plan too far ahead though. That's not the way feminine energy operates. I'm never going to be that content creator that's going to be like months out, maybe a couple of days out. I can do that because I've been getting very inspired and connected with God in another way. So being connected with God, this inspired this live stream. But I have another video coming up here on Friday. So you might want to go ahead and check the notification so it will notify you when I'm going to go live. But I'm going to go live on Friday. On Thursday, I will be on Instagram, connecting with all the Pedestal Wives over there, because I realized that some of you all are in different places. Some of y'all are on Instagram, some of you are on YouTube. So I'm going live on Instagram tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday, and I'm going to be talking about suggestion. I'm going to go in deeper detail of how to influence and suggest. And that's going to help us going into our InfluenceHim workshop that we're going to have at the end of the month on October 28th at 12 p.m. If you're interested in that workshop, you can click the link in the description box or in the comment section. I dropped the link there. But if you're going to be a member, you don't have to worry about buying a workshop. You get all the workshops that I do included. It is a part of your membership, so do not go in and buy InfluenceHim and get a membership. Don't do that. All right. So much great information. Thank you, Life. And I hate to, y'all are bad at saying any type of names. Country, Joy, Comfy, Cozy. You're the best in the breath of fresh air. Thank you. Absolutely. I don't want to participate. And I think it would be asinine for me to participate in this gender war when I have a happy marriage, when I absolutely have a divine union and commitment and have for 23 years. So I don't want to participate in that. I want to encourage women to have that commitment and union. And also a realist. I look at the economy and what the economists are saying. Women and men would be better off together, because men are going to go out there and be the brawn and women are going to be the inspiration. So if you get together and get that divine union, you all will be great for each other. You can encourage each other, inspire each other, and support each other. And having that dynamic, we're going to need that coming up in 2024, especially the way the economists are predicting what we're going to be seeing before us. We're going to be seeing some crazy things out here. And since we're going to be seeing some crazy things out here, it is best to encourage union versus divisive content, and us being divided. I don't see how this is going to benefit men and women. It will not, especially in the upcoming 2024. It will not. Okay, you said you listed another question. Okay, let me go up. Okay, what other question? Because I only see one. Okay, okay. Also, I'm a seasoned woman and don't want to birth child. How to communicate that? Oh, I have no kids and I'm very family oriented. I think you're not going to worry about birthing or telling him about you don't want kids or don't have kids or can't have kids right now. I want you to be focused more on showing up as family oriented, because I'm glad you brought that up, because that is another way to romance the masculine energy, is to show up family oriented, to show up nurturing towards your family and the people that you love, to show up, being that type of woman that your family can count on. You're the woman who organizes the get together, the gatherings for the family. You're the one who's going to putting together for Thanksgiving right now, and y'all are organizing to get your menu together. Him being able to see that, once you're in that heart space, once you're already together, then you might can go ahead and be like, oh, I'm not interested in kids. Get to a space first where y'all can have that conversation. Don't start with, oh, I don't want no kids, I'm never gonna have kids, or I can't have kids. Get to a space where he knows you a little bit better, and then you can discern and tell if he's going to even want kids. Not everybody wants kids either. Not every masculine energy wants kids. There are some that do not want kids. So if you don't want kids, that is fine. Okay. But right now, you're going to be showing up as the family oriented woman that you are. Focus in on that. And then once you get deeper into it, then let him know, hey, I'm not really interested in kids. Okay. So true. A lot of ladies treat me and how they want to be treated, which is chasing in a masculine way. It is. It is absolutely in a masculine way. They can't be in their masculine energy because you are. Y'all know there's something called the law of polarity. So if you're showing up as a masculine woman, he's showing up as a feminine man. Mm. Selfish of me, but I don't want you to blow up. Love your big wisdom. Does your program allow for a monthly subscription? Yes, it does. It might be his deal breaker, and I understand him. For him, I just wouldn't want to waste his time. The thing is, uh, if you don't want to waste his time, and that's okay. I think you're being very considerate and not wasting time. I just don't want you to get on the first date and blurt that out. And he's like, why is she saying that? That's why I said let them get to know each other a little bit, because you may not have to blurt it out, because he may indicate that he doesn't want children. If he is one of those guys who's talking about, oh, I want about 2 kids, 3 kids, then it's safe to go ahead and let him know, hey, I'm not interested in children. Then it's safe to say, if he opens that door, then walk through it. Don't lie to him. Be your authentic self. Let him know I'm not interested in children. But he may not be interested in kids either. And you may just blow it out of proportion and just see it too quickly. And he's like, why is she so, wary, or she's trying to jump in here about kids so soon? And that may throw him off. He doesn't even know you. So that's the reason I said, just let him get to know him a little bit and then let him know. But if he's talking about, oh, I want 2 kids, I want a boy and a girl, then it's okay to go ahead and walk through that door and let him know. Say, hey, right now, I don't think I'm interested in kids. I understand what you're saying. Got it. Yes, absolutely. All right. So I don't see any other comments in the comment section. And so we're going to be back on YouTube on Friday. Like I said, y'all can't ask any more than me a couple of days in advance. I can't do a month in advance of where I'm going to be at. I have a life where it's simple and easy, and I kind of don't even really like the playing live streams. But I'm doing that so that I can be of assistance and service to my community, and I can show up for you all, since you all are supporting me in a different way. So I will definitely see you all on the next one. You all have a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll see you back here on Friday. You all have a great one.